Okay, so picture this. You win a super prestigious art competition, but you never even picked up a camera or a paintbrush. Sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, right? Well, it's not. It's happening right now, thanks to AI. And this wild new reality is forcing us to ask some very old questions in a completely new way. So let's get right to it. When an AI generates a stunning, prize-winning piece of art, who's the artist? Is it the person who typed in the prompt, the tech company that built the AI model, or is there no artist at all? It's a simple question, but it's shaking the absolute foundations of what we think of as creativity and ownership. To really get why this is such a massive deal, we have to rewind a bit and look at a legal rule that's been around for centuries. You see, our entire system of who owns what was built on one single, simple assumption, and that assumption is now getting incredibly complicated. That one big assumption, it's baked right into the definition of copyright itself. It's a legal right given to the creator of an original work, and for pretty much all of history, that creator had to be human. Legal systems, whether you're in the US or the EU or almost anywhere else, are all built on this human-centric rule. So what happens when the creator isn't human anymore? So what's copyright even trying to protect in the first place? Well, the simple answer is creativity. And there's a pretty standard definition for that. Something is considered creative if it's both new and valuable. The whole point of copyright law was to encourage people to make new, valuable stuff. The big problem? AI is getting shockingly good at doing exactly that, pretty much all on its own. You know, it's funny, decades before AI art was even a whisper, you had an artist like Andy Warhol, who was obsessed with mass production, saying, "I want to be a machine." He was already poking at that blurry line between a person's unique expression and what a machine can reproduce. Today, that line has all but vanished, and it's left us to clean up the legal mess. All right, so how on earth do we even begin to draw a line between what's protectable and what's not in this crazy new world? Well, the key might actually be hiding in a legal concept that's been there all along. It's this idea of genericity, and it's suddenly more important than ever. Copyright law has always made this really important distinction. It protects the original expression of an idea, the unique way a story is told. But it doesn't protect the generic ideas themselves. So you can't copyright the idea of a love story, but you can copyright your specific original love story, like Romeo and Juliet. So what exactly do we mean by generic? Well, think about all the building blocks of creativity. It's the hero's journey plot in a million movies. It's the tough, grizzled detective in a crime novel. Or in music, it's that famous four-chord progression you've heard in literally thousands of pop songs. These are the shared tools in our cultural toolkit. They belong to everyone, so nobody can own them. And just so we're clear, this isn't just one country's problem. This is a global headache. All over the world, countries are scrambling to figure this out, and the rulebook is basically being written in real time. And let me tell you, the approaches are different. And when I say different, I mean they are all over the map. The UK, for instance, just grants copyright to computer-generated works. Simple as that. In China, the courts have gone both ways, sometimes saying the human effort and writing the prompt is enough. Ukraine went and created a totally special new kind of right just for AI works. And meanwhile, the US and the EU are still holding the line, saying no human, no copyright. It is a genuine legal Wild West out there. But here's a really wild thought. What if the very technology that's causing this whole mess could also be the key to fixing it? Some researchers are exploring this totally counterintuitive idea. What if we could use AI itself to objectively measure how original a piece of art is? Okay, let's try a little experiment. You've probably seen this famous painting by René Magritte, The Son of Man. You've got the man in the suit, the bowler hat. That's all pretty standard stuff. But that green apple just impossibly floating in front of his face, that is the spark of originality. That's what makes the painting so iconic. Now, what if we take away that original spark? We literally just mask out the man's face and ask a powerful AI to fill in the blank. This AI has seen billions of images. Based on everything it's learned, what does it think is supposed to be there? What's the most common, the most predictable, the most generic answer? So what does the AI come up with? Does it paint an apple? Nope, not even close. An apple floating in front of someone's face is just too weird, too statistically unlikely. Instead, the AI generates the most probable thing it can think of, a regular human face. It instinctively fills the blank with the generic, the expected, which perfectly proves that Magritte's apple was the truly original, unexpected idea. This experiment points toward a pretty radical new tool. You could call it an originality score, calculated by an AI. Imagine an algorithm that looks at a new song or a new painting. First, it identifies all the generic parts it's seen a million times before. Then, it calculates a score based on what's left over: the unique, the weird, the truly original parts. The higher the score, the more original it is. Look, this whole fight over AI authorship is a big deal, and it's forcing us to get really clear about what makes human creativity so special. But honestly, this might just be the warm-up act for a much bigger, much more personal question that goes way beyond art and into the nature of our own thoughts. The same kind of technology that's powering generative AI is also starting to intersect with neurotechnology, tools that can begin to read and interpret our brain activity. And this is kicking off a whole new debate about ownership, with people talking about neurorights. These are basically proposed new human rights meant to protect the data that our own minds produce. And that right there brings us to the final massive question we have to leave you with. Our whole legal system is struggling to figure out who owns a picture an AI made of an astronaut riding a horse. So if we can't even get that right, how on earth are we going to be ready to protect the originality, the privacy, and the ownership of our own thoughts? That is the real frontier.